The Leafs have placed John Tavares on injured reserve, so he's going to miss at least the next 3 games. But how bad is the injury? Here's our insider, Pierre LeBrun. Pierre, when Tavares went down during yesterday's practice, he was obviously in a lot of pain, left the ice immediately. Do we have any sense of how long he could be out?
Yeah, so officially the Leafs just said that he's on IR, which means a minimum of 1 week out. What I was told early on Wednesday night was that we might be looking at 2 to 4 weeks for John Tavares to be out. Then there seemed to be a little more optimism on Thursday morning that perhaps it could be less than that. But really the key piece of information here, Gino, is that the Leafs will have a better idea in about 7 to 10 days where John Tavares is at. Until then, it's a bit of guesswork. But I will guess, and my guess is it's at least 2 weeks here for John Tavares, and we'll see in 7 to 10 days where he's at. And it's another key injury for a Leafs team that has struggled to put its full lineup out in the ice this year, right? I mean, Austin Matthews has been out a couple of long stints, and obviously Jake McCabe recently. So one day the Leafs would like to get their full lineup together. In the meantime, while we know, and Leafs GM Brad Treliving confirmed it with media this week, that he's on the lookout for a center before the March 7th trade deadline, the Tavares injury does not impact this at all. I mean, he's going to be back. And, you know, where the Leafs end up with a center and trying to trade for a center has no bearing on yet another injury up front here.
The Leafs at home tonight to face the Devils. First time back for Sheldon Keefe since the Leafs fired him. You also had a chance to sit down with Devils GM Tom Fitzgerald. On this date last year, Pierre, New Jersey was second to last in the Metro. Today, they're second in the conference. Huge turnaround. Any doubt who he gives the credit for that turnaround to, Pierre?
Gino, there was zero hesitation. That was one of the first questions I had for him when we sat down on Wednesday was, you know, where do you start to explain the bounce back for this year? Which, listen, a lot of people expected because they were too good a team to miss the playoffs last year. And before my question was even done being out of my mouth, he said Sheldon Keefe. That coaching hire for him is the most important thing that they did in the offseason. And, you know, Tom Fitzgerald didn't know Sheldon Keefe. He really was going on what he had heard and what he had seen and watching the Leafs over the years. The other thing to remember is that Tom Fitzgerald was like a dog on a bone in his pursuit of Sheldon Keefe. When the Leafs fired Sheldon Keefe, there was a thought for a few days that maybe Sheldon Keefe would take the year to reset, to decompress. But Tom Fitzgerald called or texted him every single day after Keefe got fired and would not let go. And at the very least wanted to have a chance to sort of sell the Devils job in Sheldon Keefe, and well, we know what happened. So the other thing that's interesting to me is the way that the Devils front office feels about their coaching hire and how Sheldon Keefe has performed is so similar to what you hear from the Leafs and Brad Treliving about how Craig Berube has performed in his first year as head coach for the Leafs. So it just goes to show you that sometimes it's just time. The Leafs knew that they were firing a good coach in Sheldon Keefe, but he had had a number of cracks at it, couldn't get the team over the playoff hump. It was time for a new voice.
I want to ask about the trade front right now. And the Preds are a team that's out of the playoff hunt, realistically. Ryan O'Reilly still has this year and 2 more at $4.5 million to go. Are they looking for buyers right now between now and the deadline?
Yeah, so I made a few calls on that front on this day, Gino, because Ryan O'Reilly is such a big name, and believe me when I say that he's at the forefront of a lot of wish lists for some cup contenders. I mean, we just talked about the New Jersey Devils. Now, Tom Fitzgerald, you know, could not get into names. That's tampering. But what he did say in his interview with me is that the number one objective for the trade deadline for New Jersey is to go acquire a center. He's looking for a center upgrade. Well, we heard what Brad Treliving said earlier this week. He confirmed that the Leafs are looking for a center. And guess what? So are several contenders. They're looking for a center. They're all going to call Nashville on Ryan O'Reilly. Some of them have already started kicking tires. What I can tell you is that the Predators are not actively shopping Ryan O'Reilly. They're not trying to trade him. However, they are listening. They have to. Where they are in the standings, they're not making the playoffs. And I guess the way I would put it is this way. The Predators are absolutely fine if they keep Ryan O'Reilly and that he's part of the bounce back next year. Remember, the Predators, they're not looking to do a rebuild. They're looking to bounce back, kind of like New Jersey did, and get back in the playoff picture in a year. And Ryan O'Reilly could be part of that. He's got 2.5 years left on his contract. But, and there's always a but, Gino, if a team really steps up and makes Nashville think with a real offer, then it's perhaps something the Predators would look at. That's why it's not impossible that Ryan O'Reilly could get moved. And what I would say to that is, don't go to the Predators with a draft pick offer. Be serious about your offer if you're going after Ryan O'Reilly. One last thing, Ryan O'Reilly does not have no trade protection, but there's sort of a verbal understanding between him and his camp and the player. We're going to treat you with respect. We're going to keep you informed of things. Let's see where this goes. So could be interesting.
Hey, Pierre, usually at this time I say we look forward to the full version of Insider Trading with yourself, Dregs, and CJ coming up on the early edition of SportsCenter, but not you. You're off today because you're actually getting on a bus for the, was it the Leaside Flyers?
The Leaside Flames, buddy. Come on.
Flames, sorry.
The U14 Leaside Flames. Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck and enjoy, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.